memories for you. All right, because at the end of the day, it's those same memories that will help to, help you formulate, your personal narrative and what you want to write about. But at this time, we're just going to skip this part of it. Uh, so we want at the end of the lesson, is that you want to ask yourself, can I explain the characteristics slash elements of a personal narrative? Can I brainstorm a personal narrative using the 5 W's plus H, which we will, I guess, go over in a little bit? And can I write my own narrative using the 5 W's plus H and the elements of personal narrative? So we will definitely want to go there and see what we can do. All right. And these are what we are trying to aim at. These are learning targets, and particular to this unit of personal narrative writing. All right. So we know a narrative is a story, right? It is a fictional story you can make up, and you can make up all of the events we know. All right. But dealing with a personal narrative, it is a true story. It is a true story about an event that happened in your life. So here is the difference between the narrative and the personal narrative. The personal narrative, as some of you have already mentioned, pertains to your own unique experiences. All right, this is possibly when you think about, and sometimes the sources of your personal narrative can come from your journal entries, can come from, your reflective writing. If any of you ever kept journals or whatever like that, you will find that that is a good source of personal narrative, because you actually report, on your own unique experiences. And this is the difference between the narrative, which is a story, and is a fictional story, and the personal narrative, which is a true story. All right. So the narrative can be fabricated, but the personal narrative is a true story about an event that happened in your life. And all of us have stories to tell. All right, so you cannot say that you do not have any ideas and what to write about when it comes down to personal narrative, because all of us have stories that we can tell based on our own experiences. So so we know the personal narrative, it tells a real story. All right, you would want to make sure that you write the events in order, and always remember your plot diagrams. Anybody can remember for me the various parts of plot? What are the various parts of plot? The plot structure. Can anybody recall? All right, Ashton, you saying climax. Very good. Climax. What other parts? Resolution. All right. Rising action, falling action, exposition. Very good. All right, so you all remember the various parts of plot. So, moving forward, you want to make sure that you don't just segment, or you don't just compartmentalize what you have learned. In other words, you want to make the connections. You know, what we have done in the past in terms of plot development, plot structure is going to help you even as you write the personal narrative as well, because these are the very same elements, all right, that you are going to use. So you want to make sure that in writing your own personal experiences that you think about the various parts of plot, because that will help you, in plotting out the events that you would like to communicate, in your personal narrative. So a couple interesting things we will get at is that you can do flashbacks. Paragraphs can be of any size, and you also want to make sure that you still have the proper grammar, spelling, and capitalization as well. All right, so you know that personal narrative has an order that you must adhere to at the end of the day. All right, so you have the beginning, you have the middle, all right, and see if it shows up. You have the end, the beginning, the middle, and the end. All right, and every story must have the beginning, must have a middle, it must have an end. Now, what do we find in the beginning? We find characters. All right, we are introduced to characters, and we are also introduced to the place. So, when you are writing your own personal narrative, you want to start off with what we would call what? What would this part be called according to plots? According to a plot diagram or the or plot development, what would this part be called? Anyone? What do we find at the beginning? Thank you. Very good. At the beginning, we find our exposition. All right, so we find in our beginning the exposition where we are introduced to the characters as well as the setting. Very, very good. All right, so we will find that at the beginning. So when you write your narrative, all right, your personal narrative, your personal story, you want to make sure that you have the setting, and you want to make sure that you introduce the main characters, the characters that you would like to talk about, whether it's your mom, your Grammy, whoever it may be, all right, at the beginning, all right, because you're setting the pace, all right, for the rest of the story. You're giving us the foundation, all right. So you want to introduce your characters and also introduce the play. So, all right, you yourself and whoever else in the introduction, as well as where this take place, on the beach, at fish fry, at the movies. Where did your particular story or experience take place? All right, so you will have that at the beginning. All right, and then we also have the middle. All right, this is the events. All right, so you want to make sure that you have details. You want to make sure that you keep the events progressing forward. All right, so it says no 2 pages on how the dude made a sandwich, please. All right, no 2 pages. You want to keep the events progressing forward. So we have in the middle, you think of that as the rising action portion, the rising action portion of your story. All right, where the events that lead to the next at the end of the day. All right, this is a rising action, and this is also the place where you will probably have coming towards the end of that your climax. All right. And so we have the beginning, we have the middle, we have the end. And in our end, we have the falling action. But what else do we have? Anybody recall? What comes after the falling action? All right, good. Resolution. Very good. So we have our resolution as well. Good job, students. Okay, so I think we are about to wrap up soon. All right, but we want to talk about an important part of your narrative. All right, which is the dialogue. And what is dialogue? Anybody can refresh our minds. Anybody can give the answer to that. What is a dialogue? What is dialogue? Sorry. Hello. Okay. Any other answers? I hear time. I see Timmy saying the character speaking. Uh, I see Prochet is saying a conversation between two characters. Nevado saying character speaking. All right, very good. So it is definitely the speech. All right, it is a conversation between two characters. Very good. All right, and I see Alexis, when the characters are speaking or conversing with each other, yes. All right, you guys are correct with that. All right, I didn't even know that this PowerPoint was so fancy.
Yeah,
All right.
this is really nice.
Yes, very fancy PowerPoint. All right. So, and then for each new speaker, we're going to see examples of that. Use quotation marks. All right, and that is important as well. Gee, they don't have it every law. All right. Let's see. So use commas inside the quotation marks. Uh, so examples of this, right? We have, wow, Jim said as he walked down the airy hallway to his destination. I can't believe it. All right, so we see that there is a dialogue going on, and Jim is speaking. All right, and then we have a new individual that comes and say, "Hey, wait up!" All right, and all of this is in quotation marks, and then it says, Joe yelled as he saw his friend's shadow disappear around the corner. All right, so we see that there's an indentation where the character is speaking. All right, a new character is speaking, or a different character. Uh, so let's just move on. I just want to introduce you the couple of things that you may want to keep in mind and to consider. All right, so a part of your vocabulary I want you to add is the cause and effect. And sorry, before I ask, what is cause and effect? Anybody can recall what cause and effect is?
Oh yeah, all of them, man. That's easy. They should feel insulted that you even ask them that because we've talked about cause and effect so many times now, man. Right, guys?
This cause. All right. Okay. Good. So, Mr. Walking and teach you all this already. So everybody should be jumping to
We,
answer.
no, man. We all taught them. We
All
all
right.
we all taught them.
Effects is what happen. The consequence of something you've done. Uh, after cause is how something happened. An effect is the result after cause was made. Yeah, I understand that. All right. Cause and effect. So, as looking at it, and this is happening in your story as well. All right. Cause and effect. So, as a result of not bringing my umbrella this morning because as you saw it rain, all right, I ended up getting wet. All right. So the cause, all right, cause and effect a relationship between events or things where one is results of the other or others is a combination of action and reaction. All right. I still getting some answers. A cause is something that produces an event or condition. An effect is what results from an event or condition. Mr. Walken, you agree with that one?
Yes.
Very good. Very good. So you saying that that was Google, Waldy? All right. So also a chronological order. All right. And I guess this is where we're going to stop. All right. Is a listing describing or discussing events, discussing when events happen as they relate to time. It's like looking at a timeline to view what occurred first and what happened after that. So, all right, think about that beginning, that middle, and that end. All right, chronological order. First, second, third. What happened. That is what we do when it comes down with the chronological order. The sequencing of your story. All right, what takes place first and what takes place secondly, what takes place after, the first and second event. So you think about it in terms of that. All right. So yes, class is finished already, and that has been because of the technical difficulties I had. So all right. So make sure we have a survey as well, eh? I think that's what you posted, Mr. Walker.